This is Mark and Charity's Coffee Podcast.
Mark and Charity Coffee Podcast, back at it after a long August weekend. Feels like Monday, but tomorrow's already Wednesday. So good. Today on the podcast, we're going to talk about the weekend, not this past one. We're going to talk about this one coming up because Friday night at the Hayloft Dance Hall, 344 Salmon Park Road in Cherry Valley. You know it. You've been there. Sight of a lot of fun. Martina Sorbara is going to be there. Do you know who Martina Sorbara is? You may not know her by her birth name, but you know her by her moniker, Dragonette. Along with Martin Solveig, she topped the charts with Hello. She's going to be there after a 15, almost 20-year career of collaborating, some solo work. She's touring now in appreciation of what she calls her best work to date, and that is a brand new album called 20s. I caught up with her today to talk a little bit about the talents of collaborating, what she has going on in LA when she's done here, and how Dragonette began. Dragonette is going to be at the Hayloft down in the county this Friday night, and reading your bio, there's a funny line there, Martina, about you having lived several lifetimes over the course of your career. Let's talk about your unique ability to reinvent yourself. Where does that talent come from?
I don't know if I reinvented myself. I think I became kind of not bored, but when I would write music by myself, and I would write it with a piano and a guitar, and I could only make one kind of music that way. Mm-hmm. And so once I started working with other people, and all the sounds of the world came into the scope of what I was able to do, it just kind of opened up. It opened up so many different types of songs and songwriting, and I was brought up like listening to very folksy music. I was brought up to believe that like pop music was kind of like not valuable. And then at a certain point of like growing up and being in the world and being a musician, traveling around, I all of a sudden was like, hey, that's absolutely not true. Pop music is like the pinnacle of musical creating. And and my ears opened up and my heart opened up, and I still think I write the same kind of songs as I used to. Just the palette is broader.
And the influences of all of those that you have collaborated with, that kind of cooperation too is its own talent. How have you been able to draw so many of these people into your sphere for both songwriting and performing?
I don't know. I think I really like coming at pop music from way left field, and I think I have to because that's where I come from. So I think for me, what I find so satisfying about the collaborations that I do and collaborating in general is that it brings together two disparate, like potentially quite disparate ideas. And I think that may be what, EDM producers and more electronic music makers are attracted to in how I write and how I sing, is that it's kind of like it has even an almost undetectable sort of folk twang to it or something, and so it makes it inherently come across a little bit differently.
Martina Sorbara, a.k.a. Dragonette, performing at the Hayloft on Friday night here with Mark Philbin, 95.5 Hits FM, and the Mark and Charity Coffee Podcast. You talk about having a bit of a folk background. So writing for EDM, did you foresee that this was an angle your career was going to go into?
No, I didn't actually at all. The first collaboration I did was before the first Dragonette record. I was in the UK. And I don't know if you remember, do you remember Basement Jaxx, that band?
No.
Huge UK band, big song, Where's Your Head At? Anyways, these guys are crazy guys. Make really insane music, and my label threw me into the studio with them. I'd never written with a stranger, and I ended up doing my first collaboration with them, and it was the first single on their next record. But I didn't even understand that that's how that kind of music was often made. Like, you just throw two people together. In my mind, like, music was made locked by yourself in a room until then. that was like my first introduction. And then after that, and once we got a few singles out, kind of just like happened more often, and people would send me songs, pre-made, big full tracks with no top lines on it, and I would sit in my studio and write something on it, which I love to do now. It's like the main way I make music now is back to being by myself, but with these fully formed musical ideas that I just get to play around with.
Yeah. Now, do you have new songwriters, much like you would have been back then when you were thrown in the studio, that now come to you because you have so much more experience? And what do you find with new songwriters now? Is it different than the way you started out?
You know what? Every single songwriter has a different method. Like I encounter young songwriters that work like I do. Every person fills out their idea in their own unique way. And I'm most amazed by people who sit in the back of a studio and they can write a whole song on their iPhone and in their head. And they're not saying one thing, they're not saying anything out loud. And then by the end of the session, they're like, oh, I have something, here's the song. And for me, that's like impossible. I need everybody in the room sharing energy, eye contact. I want to hear what it sounds like. I want to record it, hear it back, change it. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, I've worked with so many different kinds of people, and you can have amazing writers, but the way that they work doesn't work together.
Martina Sorbara, Dragonette, to be at the Hayloft coming up on Friday night. Get your tickets at InQuinte.ca in support of a new project called 20s, in which you claim it's your best music to date. What makes it so much better than what has been a fabulous career for you already? What is it about this project that you're really putting your stamp on?
Okay, I think that it is because I think when I first, like I said, the door to pop music and pop sensibilities opened up to me, and I really went wholeheartedly into that soundscape. And it's almost like I felt like I had to leave a little bit of my old music-making self behind. And something happened in this record where I just feel like I am representing like every part of my musical journey, as opposed to sort of cutting off one side. I think I had to do that when I first started making more electronic synth pop music because I was excited about it. And now I think what's exciting about 20s is that I can let in the possibility that all these things can coexist in my songwriting, sonically and conceptually.
We wish you all the best in 2023. What are you doing for the remainder of the summer when you're done here?
I'm actually going back to LA to do some writing for a new project. So that's going to be the end of my summer, and then we'll see where that takes me.
Sure. Well, that's all part of the journey, and we wish you all the best moving forward with that project and everything else. Have a great time. Have you been down in our area in the Quinte region of Ontario before?
Yes. I've spent so much time there. In fact, I've been at the Hayloft before, dancing all night, Scratch Bastard. I don't know if you've heard of him, but it was like one of the best shows I've ever seen. It was at the Hayloft, so I'm so excited to be playing there.
But this will be the first time you'll be on stage.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to
well,
it.
enjoy it. We officially welcome you back. Thank you so much for making us part of your summer. We will make you part of ours, and thanks for spending some time with us today.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Martina Sorbara, Dragonette. You probably danced with her when she was down at the dance hall. Maybe you were there that night and you remember the show. Get your tickets. Keep it tuned to our socials, by the way. We may very well be handing out tickets to the show. So keep an eye on the 95.5 Hits FM socials for your chance to click and qualify to win tickets. If not, get on Eventbrite.ca. Get your tickets for the show on Friday night when Dragonette is here. Juno Award winner, EDM superstar. What a great chat, and we wish her all the best on that. Coming up tomorrow on the show, we'll have a little bit of that chat, but you've heard the whole thing. But come on back for a little snippet tomorrow. As well, we'll be unveiling our Throwback Thursday, which has a lot to do with our Summer of Fun Adventure Series, Adventure Package number 4, brought to you by Kim's Secrets on North Front Street, and that is the Connect 3 game. Connect 3. So, 3 songs, 8 o'clock, 12:30, 4:30. 3 artists are going to be in the Trilogy Tour. It's all about the threes. So what we need you to do is hear the 3 songs that we had today. So, for example, we've already got a qualifier. However, for tomorrow, 8, 12:30, and 4:30, what will those 3 songs have in common? Be the first one right. qualify for the grand prize draw we're going to hand out for those tickets when the Trilogy Tour stops in Toronto, October 17th. Pitbull, Enrique Iglesias, Ricky Martin. You could be there. So be listening for your chance to qualify. From those, we're going to get into our Throwback Thursday coming up tomorrow, just ahead of your workday when we kick that off at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Enjoy your Tuesday evening. Get back at it again tomorrow morning on 95.5 Hits FM.